Seahawks and Giants, Monday Night Football. Giants. Is this right? It's in New York. Giants favored by 1 here on Monday Night Football. We should get Andrew Thomas back at left tackle. Seattle coming off of 2 straight wins here. They're up to 2-1. Geno Smith with a couple nice games back-to-back. And the Giants, as I mentioned way back earlier in the show, coming off a game where they had the 3rd worst pass blocking grade that we've seen over the last 4 years, last week against the Niners.
Yeah, Andrew Thomas will make a big difference, but he is but one man. And that offensive line's problems run deeper than that. But it's an important step.
It's another one. So this will be probably the best 2-game stretch for Seattle's defense as far as having success up front, because they had Carolina last week. You had Mario Edwards, you had Jaron Reed, you had Boye Mafe, all play well up front, all take advantage of that weak Panthers offensive line. They might have another chance again. The Giants will have some other players back. Even Ben Bredesen, I think, should be back instead of Shane Lemieux. Shane Lemieux's had a tough time pass blocking in his career. Mm-hmm. The PFF grades have not been kind.
What is his career pass blocking grade? It's got to be awful.
Oh, gosh. He's just got like multiple single digits.
Every season of his career that he's played more than 17 snaps, he has a pass blocking grade of 16.9 or worse.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah, I was with my brother-in-law the other day. He's used to D3 football player. Doesn't pay a ton of attention. I was like, watch the left guard. I was like, just watch this. And next play, it was like, boom, 0.8 seconds.
Yeah.
Poor Shane. But I don't think, so that was part of the rough week.
Yeah. So the Giants' offensive line just needs to get back to, can it be even vaguely viable? Forget creep back toward average, creep back towards just not being an absolute total train wreck in a single game. Daniel Jones he's actually only, quote unquote, the 4th highest rated, pressured at the highest rate in the NFL, 4th most under pressure quarterback in the league this season. By percentage of dropbacks. But when it's been bad, it's been completely non-viable, does not function, absolute disaster. If they can just and they're going up against a pretty bad pass rush in Seattle, if that number could just be 35%, the offense can work, and then we can see what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
If it's at 45, 40, 50 plus, it just can't really function in those circumstances.
The other stat that I wanted to throw out there is the Giants defense, very similar to the Vikings, the way they blitz like crazy and blitzing like crazy and getting the number 28 EPA per play. So again, the Giants are aggressive. Some might even say
suicidal.
They're aggressive, and it's not working a whole lot. The Kayvon Thibodeau grade is one of the biggest surprises for me this entire football season. I think he's in the 30s from a PFF grade standpoint. He was good last year. He was good as a rookie. He had a good rookie season, and I am shocked that he has not been able to build on that. I thought the Giants' defensive line would cover some of the question marks on the back end. And Dexter Lawrence has played outstanding, and Leonard Williams has done his thing, but not having any semblance of edge rush, no production from Kayvon Thibodeau, I think really hurting the Giants, especially again when they're going to be aggressive up front.
Yeah, he hasn't been good at all. He was solid as a rookie and flashed a lot in terms of pass rush, and it's just not been there so far through the first few weeks. That's a massive blow to them. There's some players individually on that defense that are playing reasonably well, but the collective is not working because they're trying too hard again, a lot like Minnesota. They've got more talent, I think, to work with, but it's not been good. Really impressed by Devin Witherspoon from what we've seen from him.
Yes.
And it's the same things that we saw in college. His anticipation, his reading of the game for a player that is a rookie is so exceptionally ahead of the curve relative to other young cornerbacks. He might not have the physical tools, the size that some of these other guys have, even the movement skills, but he's so far ahead in his head. He's ahead. He's 2 steps ahead of where other DBs are because he reads it faster. And that was what he did at Illinois. It has translated in small sample size so far. And if that's a thing, if that's a strength of his, in perpetuity, it gives him such an advantage relative to some other guys.
He might be Pete Carroll's favorite player of all time, right? The way he plays, if he just had 33-inch arms, that Pete would adopt him. That's his guy. I mean, the way he flies around the field. He's getting dirty in the run game the last couple of weeks.
5'11", 181. If he was 6'2", 210.
Could you imagine? That would be like...
You'd already be in Pete Carroll's will.
That's like Sherman, Earl, and Cam all rolled into one for him. Kind of is the way he plays. He's awesome. So yeah, Witherspoon's been a lot of fun. Sounds like Reek Woolen could be back here for the Giants game. And I am interested. Seattle doesn't like to play matchups with their corners, but like when you have Witherspoon and Woolen healthy, you have two completely different styles and body types that if you want to play matchups,
gives you the option to.
It adds a ton of flexibility to the defense. We'll see if they end up doing that. Again, Geno Smith continues to impress me because he wasn't good week 1 against the Rams, and he bounces back, right? As soon as you want to write him off, Geno Smith bounces back. Did it last week too. Two pretty bad interceptions. He comes back. He fights back. One thing I'm looking for in the blitz-heavy scheme, Jackson Smith and Jigba for the Seahawks. Off to a slow start. The rookie, who I thought would be much better right out the gate. This could be the type of game where, hot receiver, get open quick against the blitz, that Smith and Jigba could have some success. If he's going to break out, this is the week. My prediction.
I was trying to work out, so the Reek Woolen thing, it obviously sounds a little bit weird, but I also only just realized that the reason Reek Woolen in particular, the Game of Thrones thing, like the Reek, you don't watch Game of Thrones.
No, I did. I watched it.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Well, that was the, Reek. That's not, you don't want to name yourself after that.
Well, that was probably like R-E-K-E.
Oh, I'm
right?
sure it's not spelled the same, but my point being that's the same sound. You don't want to name yourself after that particular character.
My mind didn't go
Mine
there.
didn't either until just now. It's like, why does Reek keep ringing a chord somewhere in my brain? That's why.
I don't like name changes after good seasons. I mean, look at, that's all I'm saying. Like Robbie Anderson's career has, the decline has directly correlated with all of the various name changes.
Until last week.
Shaquille Leonard with the Colts. He's been injury prone since changing from Darius. I don't think you mess with the name if things are going well.
Robbie Chosen now has the potential he's got one more change left before he has to start a new cycle. He can go back to ROBBY Chosen.
Yeah. But he's averaging 68 yards a pop right now, so stick with it. Robbie Chosen.